Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. In the first story, the cashier was rude to our OP, and he didn't like it at all. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. I unintentionally got a cashier with a nasty attitude fired. This is from a couple years ago. Leaving work and walking towards my car, I noticed the pressure in one of the tires is pretty low. I drive to the closest gas station and pull up to the air compressor. It was 75 cents, so I put in 3/4 and nothing happens. I walk inside, wait patiently for the cashier to finish ringing up a customer, and tell her, I think the air compressor is broken. I put in 75 cents and nothing happened. She looked at me and said, yeah, you'll have to go somewhere else. I was a bit taken aback, so it probably took me a second to say, well, don't you think you should put up a sign or something? And could I get my quarters back so I can go to another gas station? I wanted to stress that my tone was perfectly polite, so I wasn't prepared for how quickly her attitude turned from unfriendly to nasty when she said, you're gonna have to eat it. If she'd said, sorry, only a manager can do that, or something along those lines, I probably would have just left and forgotten about it. But I didn't like how she was treating me. I kept my cool and with a very slightly strained politeness said, is there a manager or something who can help? I don't have any other change and my tire is really low. Nobody else here. Anthony's the manager. He's not here. He'll be here in the morning. All right, I said. Thank you. The next morning I call the store and the lady who answers sounds like the same cashier. I ask for Anthony. He left before 6. He's getting married today. Gonna be on his honeymoon for 2 weeks. Oh, I was there yesterday and was told he'd be there this morning. Well, anyway, I had a problem yesterday afternoon. The air pump stole my change. I remember you. So it was the same lady. I told you to come in before 6. No one else going to get your quarters for you. I started to disagree, but realized I wasn't going to get anywhere, so I said, okay, thanks anyway, and hung up. The gas station was a franchise of a large brand, so I wrote a quick email to their customer service address. The next morning, I get a phone call from the regional manager at the franchise, which turned out to be a company which owned quite a few gas stations in the area. He apologized for my experience and said they'd been having trouble with this store and asked me to describe the cashier, which I did, and he said he'd look into the matter further. He also wanted to reimburse me for the 75 cents. I told him I was just happy he was taking the matter seriously and that I didn't really care about the money. But he mailed me $1 and a couple of free car washes anyway, so that was nice. I hadn't expected to hear anything else, but I was very surprised a few days later when the same manager called me again just to tell me that Mrs. Nasty Attitude had been fired for a string of issues, including mine, as well as accepting bad checks. I felt bad for about half a second, but she was mean, lied, and provided terrible customer service, apparently serially. And our second story. You don't want me to change prices? Fine. At one supermarket I worked at, only the store manager and the assistant store manager had access to the entire computer system. Department managers only had access to sections that were directly relevant to their departments. However, when I first started and my access was set up, the store manager stuffed up and inadvertently gave me full access. It meant that when she wasn't around, I was able to fix certain little problems that would pop up. I was a fast learner and was able to work out these issues pretty quickly. One time, the area manager came in for a surprise visit after the store manager had left. There was an issue with some pricing on products, but no one had access to that part of the computer system, except me. The problems were serious enough that the area manager wanted them fixed straight away and was looking at calling the store manager to come back in to fix them. I piped up, said that I had access and could fix the problem. Area manager wanted to know how I had access. I explained, mentioned the things I've been doing, and the area manager gave me the verbal authority to continue doing what I've been doing, fixing things up that the store manager doesn't know about. I fixed the pricing issue for the area manager, and afterwards he said to me to let him know every time I have to fix up an issue that the store manager had ignored. Things continued on for a couple of months. I continued doing what I'm doing, continued giving the area manager reports on things I've been fixing up. Store manager has no clue, until one day she comes back into the store. She'd finished and left about 30 minutes earlier because she'd forgotten to send an email. She sees me at the computer fixing pricing errors and asks who gave me the authority to do that. I said nobody. I just thought it would be good if they got fixed sooner rather than later. She said she was going to give me a written warning, and if she ever sees me doing anything on the computer outside of my department needs, she'll fire me. I said okay. If she didn't want me fixing things like this anymore, then I will not. I let the area manager know, and he said to just go along with it for now. He also got a copy of the written warning. He also told me that if there were any serious issues, let him know, and he would get head office to fix them remotely. Another couple of months pass, and the area manager comes in one day for a chat with the store manager. He had a huge list of things that he needed to check off, issues that he claimed had been identified in other stores. These were all issues I could have quietly fixed, but did not because of the store manager's threat. Area manager went and checked each one, and the store manager had done nothing about any of them. Assistant store manager was called in and asked whether he had done any of it. Assistant manager said that the store manager had control over that area. Area manager asked whether anyone else knows how to fix these errors in case they're identified when the store manager or assistant manager are not around. Store manager says no. Area manager then asks why did this written warning come across his desk and pulled out my written warning. The store manager said she had no idea that the area manager had that warning, then explained she was afraid that I'd been stuffing things up in the computer system. Area manager called me into the office. Area manager asked the store manager a couple of questions about how to fix the errors. She gave her answer. Assistant manager was asked. He said he was not sure. He would probably ask the store manager. Area manager then asked me. I told him step by step what I would do. Area manager then rang another store manager on speakerphone and asked them. The other store manager agreed with my way of fixing the errors. Area manager then asked me to leave the room. For the next couple of minutes, the area manager spoke to both the store manager and assistant store manager. Assistant store manager comes out, finds me, says things are going to change around here, but he said it in a nice way. After another 10 minutes, the store manager comes out, does not even look at me. Area manager comes out, lets me know that I can go back to fixing errors when I see them, and leaves. 2 weeks later, I go on holiday for 3 weeks. I come back and find out the store manager has suddenly been transferred to another store, a lesser store, without warning, and recommending me for the management development program. And our last story. You want my house? Say goodbye to your job. Years ago, I had a nasty breakup with my ex of 8+ years. We had a house, dog, no kids, but overall, plenty to fight about. Eventually, so tired of it all, I told her she could have the house. She was in love with the place and wanted to die there. I just wanted out. The house was underwater on the mortgage since I'd bought it just before the real estate crash. I offered her $10,000 in order to get out of it. With that, she could pay down the loan and refinance it in her name. I moved out. 1.5 years go by, and she starts the refinancing process. I moved 3 times during this time, to my parents and twice for work. I'm finally buying a new house, although I had all my small stuff out of her place. I still had a pile of tools, some appliances, and other miscellaneous things. I left it all there because I didn't want to just leave her high and dry for essential stuff. At this point, she had 1.5 years to replace it all. The refinancing has finally gone through, and I gave her $5,700 in cash, asking her when I could come and pick up my stuff. She says I can grab the tools after I give her the rest of the cash, but the appliances and some other stuff were hers. This was not what I had agreed to. I refused to give her another penny. She sued me in small claims court. The judge went down the list of stuff I was asking for. He asked my ex in each instance if she paid for or contributed to paying for any of it. To her credit, she told the truth, that she had not paid a cent. In total, there was about $13,000 worth of appliances and other stuff. The tools weren't included because she said I was welcome to pick them up anytime. The judge said he had to do some math. He ordered that I had to pay $2,400 in addition to the $5,700 I'd paid, and we were square. That I could live with. I asked when I could pick up my stuff. The judge looked puzzled and said, "Oh, well, it's hers now. Pay up and you're square." Miss X loved that and gets this huge smirk as we're walking out of the courtroom. I ask her when I can meet her to pick up my tools. She just looks at me with a crap-eating grin and asks, "What tools?" At this point, I had spent years pandering her to keep things civil, and now that she didn't need me anymore, She was trying to steal everything she could get her hands on and get out of Dodge. Now the revenge. Miss X worked in the healthcare industry and had access to medical records. Of course, she abused that to screw with me when I started dating again. She would pull up stuff and tell me to stay away from so-and-so for your own good. She foolishly had this in writing over email, so when she decided to outright steal from me, all bets were off. I reported her for a HIPAA violation, and her butt was fired the next day. Her entire career was in that industry, and she'll never get work in it again. She took my house, but we're square now. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.